Hey guys, this is Daniel Ailes, and in this video we're going to be going over the Texas State Theory Test Grade 5. Specifically in this video we're going to be going over questions 1 and 2. So let's get started. In question 1 it states, on the staff below draw a brace, a treble clef, a bass clef to complete the grand staff below, and draw whole notes in both the treble and bass as directed below each measure. Okay. So, the first thing we need to do is we need to draw a brace. Let me get out my little pen here. And remember, to draw a brace, all we have to do is draw a little V or arrow, however you want to call it, right there in the middle between the two staves. And then we draw a little rainbow going up and a little rainbow coming down. And that is the brace. Now we have to draw the treble clef. Treble clef is very simple. We just start above the staff up here, alright? And then draw all the way down going through. Give it a little curve and hook at the end, and there we have our kind of umbrella handle. Now go back up to the top and draw a little D to line number 4. So we're going to stop right here. We're going to draw a little D to line number 4. Alright? And then we're going to stop at the bottom down here. We're going to draw a backwards D all the way down to the bottom. Don't go below the line. Just stop at the line. And then we're going to draw a kind of a medium D here up to line number 3. So curve it up at line number 3, and then we give it a little bit of a tail. Just like that. Don't do this. Don't extend it farther so it keeps curving in. Just stop right there in space 1. Right there. Okay, so that's our treble clef. Now we gotta draw the bass clef. Bass clef. Much easier than the treble clef. Just draw a big dot right there on the 4th line, fill it in, and then we curve up and touch the top line, don't go above it, and then we curve it back down, don't touch the bottom line, and then dot in the top space, dot in the 3rd space. And that's it. That is our treble and bass clef. Now we need to draw, do we need to draw a double bar line? No, they already gave us a double bar line. Okay. So we need to draw a D in both clefs. So this is just note naming. You should know this from grades 2, 3, 4. So this is just very simple note naming. Remember the bass clef lines are good burritos don't fall apart, or you might like the sentence Garfield buys dog food always, or you might like the sentence good birds don't fly away. Whatever you use, just use that one. And D should be right here. Okay. And in the treble clef, there's 2 spots to put D. You can either put a D here, which is right below the E line, or you can put a D way up here. Remember, the treble clef lines are every good boy does fine. That's the only one I really use in my studio. You might use even George Bush drives fast. Every good boy deserves fudge. Every good boy deserves football. You know, whatever you want to use, those are the places that you can put a D. You need 1 D in the treble and 1 D in the bass. Alright. G, for the spaces in the bass clef, it's all cows eat grass. That's the only one that I use, and it's the only one that I know. So there's 2 spots in the bass clef you can put a G. You can put it here for good birds don't fly away, or we can do all cows eat grass and put it in the top space. And for the treble clef, every good, it should be on the 2nd line. Every good boy does fine. Alright, C. Now, I wouldn't recommend putting a middle C if you get this, because a middle C, remember, can be played in both treble and bass, and it's kind of in the same spot, so don't use middle C. All cows for the bass clef, all cows eat grass, and for the treble clef spaces, we just spell the word face, F-A-C. It should be in the 3rd space. And the last one, F. You should know that it's right here. We just went over that, face in the treble clef, and every good boy does fine up here at the top. Those are the 2 spots in the treble clef you can put it, or you can put it down here in the bass clef with a good birds don't fly right there. Alright. Now let's move on to question number 2. It says, on the staff below, add the notes, chromatic signs, or rests that are named below each measure. Remember the stem rules. Okay, so let's go over this real quick. First, before we do this, I did this in the 4th grade test videos, so you can go back and check that out. But here, we are going to go over some stem rules. Remember, the basic stem rule is if the note head, if the circle part of the note is below the third line, right, the stem is going to go up on the right side. Okay? If the note head is above the third line, it's going to go down on the opposite side, on the left side. If it's on the third line, it can go either direction, up or down. But remember, if the stem is going to go up, it needs to go on the right side. If the stem is going to go down, it needs to go on the left side. The way I teach my students to remember that is, remember, the right hand usually plays the higher notes. So if the stem is pointing high, just remember that's the side that the right hand plays, okay? The left hand usually plays the lower notes. So if the stem is pointing low or down, those are the notes that the left hand plays. So that doesn't mean that if the stem is going down, it's a left-hand note. That just means it's the side of the keyboard that the left hand plays, and it's the left side of the note that goes down. So, what other stem rules are there? The stem needs to go up 3 more lines or 3 more spaces. So, for instance, right here, in this one, if I'm on the bottom space, I need to go up 1, 2, let's do this one. 3 more spaces. So 1, 2, 3 more spaces high. If I'm on a line, it needs to go up 3 more lines, relatively. They're not going to take out a ruler and measure it, but don't do this, okay? Don't draw a note like, let me erase this real quick. Don't do this. You draw a note here and then you go. Or, the opposite of that, you draw a note here and go like this. Don't do that. Just think, the magic number is 3. Draw a note. I'm in a space, go up 3 more. 1, 2, 3. I'm on a line, go down 3 more lines. 1, 2, 3. If you want to be 100% exact, if you're in a space, the stem should touch the line when you go up 3 more spaces. 1, 2, 3. Notice it's touching this line right here. If you're on a line, it should fall in the middle of a space. Notice I'm in the middle of a space down here at the bottom. Alright, and that is pretty much it for the stem rules. The flag rules, let's go over the flag rules real quick. If I have a note with the stem going up, and it's an 8th note or a 16th note, the flag always points to the right. If I have a note with a stem going down, and it's a 16th note or an 8th note, the flag always points to the right. The flags always point to the right. The flags always point to the right. Just remember that. What else? What else? Stem rules. Stem rules. Okay, I think that's about it. We'll go over some more if needed. Let's take a look at this. The first one says, 8th notes on F and C use a beam. Okay, so first thing we want to do is we want to find F. Good birds don't fly. Here's F. And then we want to find C. All cows. Here's C. Okay, we already have an issue with the rules. Okay? Notice one note is above the third line, one note is below the third line. You are probably going to run into a question like this on your test. This exact question may not be on there, but a question like this will be on your test. So, if I was going to just use flags, I would do this. I know I haven't filled them in. I would do this, okay? One stem would go down with a flag going to the right. One stem would go up with a flag going to the right. But I need to use a beam. That means I need to connect them. Don't do this. Don't do that. That's a big no-no. What you have to do is figure out which note head is farthest away from line number 3. So if you look at F, F is a space and a line away from line number 3. C is just a space away from line number 3. So F is the farthest one out of these 2 notes. So they are both going to follow the stem rule of F. They're both going to go down. And that looks bad. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2, 3 right here. It's hard to do this on an iPad. And then we fill them in because they're 8th notes. And that's what it should look like. Alright. Now this one says a 16th note on G. Just one 16th note. Just one. I need to find G. I can do it here for good birds don't fly away. Or I can do it up here. I will do both of them just for your sake. I'm not going to... I wouldn't recommend doing both of them on the actual test. So, fill it in, because it's a 16th note, it's not a half note. The stem is going to go up on the right, 3 more lines, down on the left, 3 more lines, and this is a 16th note, so it gets 2 flags. 1, 2, 1, 2. Alright, so either one of those would work. This says a quarter note on A flat. So the first thing I have to find is A. I can either do A here, or I can do A here. Alright, so I need it to be a quarter note, so the stem is going to go up on the right, 3 more spaces, down on the left, 3 more lines, and I need to fill it in, just like that. And I need to put a flat in front of it. Remember, the flat does not go on this side. The flat goes in front of the note. It should come first. And the flat, or sharp, if you have to do a sharp, goes in the same line or same space as the note itself. Okay? Alright, last one, and then we're done with this video. A 16th rest. A 16th rest, a 16th note has 2 flags. A 16th rest is going to have 2 little dots. So real quick, let me just draw out all the rests. Here I have a whole rest, fill it in. Here I have a half rest, fill it in. Here I have a quarter rest. Here I have an 8th rest. And here I have a 16th rest. That looks really bad. I'm going to redraw that. Here I have a 16th rest. Okay? So, those are the 5 types of rest that you should know by now. And for a 16th rest, it's not like a note where it can go anywhere. Rests go in specific spots every single time. The 8th rest, the dot of the 8th rest always goes in the 3rd space. It goes up and down like that. A 16th rest, you're going to have a dot here and a dot here, and this one's going to go make just like a little double 7 right there. The quarter rest, just so you know, don't touch the top line, don't touch the bottom line, do a little zigzag, then a half moon, and there's your quarter rest. Half rest always goes on line number 3. Whole rest always hangs down from space number 4. But the one that they want for this question is this one right here. You need to know how to draw all your rests, or else you're going to miss points. Alright, that's everything I have for this video. Keep studying, keep practicing, and I will see you in the next one.